All right, hello, geometry kids. Here we are for our second day of volume, and this is our last day in chapter 11. And what we are going to do today is figure out the volume of a cone and a pyramid and a sphere. All right, so we're going to start with the cylinder because I actually did not see the cylinder problems on ALEKS, and now I found them. So the notes, the last day one notes ended with a cylinder. So these notes are going to start with a cylinder because I was able to add cylinder notes onto this assignment. All right, so volume is still pretty much the same for a cylinder and a prism. Anything with a matching top and bottom is the capital B, which is the area of the base, times the height. And that's if it has a matching top and bottom. So that's a cylinder, like a can of corn. And that is also, for example, a prism, like a Kleenex box or a book or something of that sort. All right, so how do we figure out what the area of the base is? Well, the base is this circle down here. Okay, so if the base is a circle, how do you find the area of a circle? That is pi r squared. So volume is equal to the area of the base times the height, and the area of a circle is equal to pi times r squared. All right, so my volume is going to be pi times r squared, and then we're going to multiply times the height. Okay, so for this cylinder, it's going to be pi times the radius, which is 6 squared, times the height, which is 10. And because it is a volume, it's 3 dimensions, because base is 2 dimensions, that's an area, and height is a third dimension. So that's going to be millimeters cubed. So it says to use 3.14. If we were in class, we would not be doing that. And then also says to round to the nearest whole number. So make sure you read the directions before you enter your answer. So you're going to put in 3.14 times 6 squared times 10 into your calculator, round that to the nearest whole number, and then it's millimeters cubed. Okay, nice work. Oh, this is an oblique cylinder, and an oblique cylinder is calculated the same way you calculate a regular cylinder. It's the area of the base times the height. That's for all cylinders, oblique or regular, and that's for all prisms. All right, next. This one is also a cylinder, but the cylinder is laying on its side. So you have to like take your Chromebook screen or take your computer screen or tilt your head and do it that way. So the volume, because it's a cylinder, the volume is still the area of the base times the height. But what is the base? Well, this is the base and this is the base because those are the matching sides. All right, so when you're looking at this, I'm going to erase this so I can see. All right, so that 4 feet is the diameter. And if you look up above here, it tells you the diameter is 4 feet. All right, so this was the base. Okay, that's the base. So volume is area of the base times the height. So the base is pi times r squared. So if the diameter is equal to 4, your radius is equal to 2. It's 4 divided by 2. All right, so it's going to be pi times 2 squared times the height. And in that case, h is going to be your height because you have to look at the bases as the top and the bottom, so times 20. And that is going to be feet cubed. And once again, the directions are the same for rounding. It says to use 3.14 and round to the nearest whole number. So just follow the directions on that. So 3.14 times 2 squared times 20, and then round to the nearest whole number. Okay, so next we have a cone. Okay, so what is the volume of a cone? Now you may not know this, but if you had a cylinder that was 8 feet, 8 meters in diameter and 12 meters tall, you could actually take this cone here and flip it upside down, and you could fill that up with water 3 times, and that would fit inside the cylinder with the same diameter and the same height, an 8-meter diameter and a 12-meter height. So if we took this cone and we flipped it upside down and we filled it up with water, we could fill up a cylinder 3 times that had the same dimensions. So since you could fill it up 3 times, what is my volume of a cone going to be? It's going to be the same as a cylinder, the area of the base times the height. We have to divide by 3. And why are we dividing by 3? Because 3 cones fit inside the cylinder. All right, so it's not too difficult to find. This is much easier than surface area. I like volume way better. All right, so my volume is the area of the base. Now keep in mind the area of the base is a circle. So that's going to be pi times r squared. So that's going to be pi times 8 divided by 2 is my radius. That's going to be pi times 4 squared times my height, which is 12. And then I'm going to divide that by 3. And that is going to be meters cubed. Okay, and why am I dividing that by 3? Right, we definitely already talked about that because of the fact that you can fit 3 cones into one cylinder. So then you would put in the 3.14. You do nothing to the rounding. So you simply put in 3.14 for pi. And then it says do not round anything. So then you just leave your answer in the decimal that it's going to come in. So it's going to be 3.14 times 4 squared times 12. And then you divide by 3. And then that's your answer, meters cubed. All right, so what's the relationship between a cone and a cylinder? There are 3 cones in one cylinder. So we use the same formula we use for a cylinder, area of the base times the height. And then because 3 cones go into one cylinder, we just divide it by 3. All right, next is a rectangular pyramid. All right, pyramids work the exact same way. So if I had a regular prism, not a regular prism, but if I had a prism that was 9 by 7 by 7, so 9 by 7 by 7, and that were like an entire prism, I would take the area of the base times the height. So it's 9 times 7 and then times 7. But once again, it's not a prism, it's a pyramid. And once again, if I filled that pyramid, if I flipped it upside down and filled it with water, I could fit 3 pyramids into one prism. So it's actually, that works out nicely because it makes it easy. It's the same formula as a cone. It's the area of the base times the height. So we're simply going to divide by 3 because 3 pyramids fit inside one prism. All right, so the area of the base here is the area of a rectangle, which is length times width. So this right here is my base, and that area is equal to 9 times 7, and that is my capital B, because that's the area of the base. So my volume is going to be 9 times 7, which is my base, and then I multiply by 7 and divide by 3, and that is inches cubed. Okay, so once again, how does a pyramid and a prism relate? Okay, you could fit 3 of those pyramids inside of a prism. So it's the area of the base times the height, and then you have to divide it by 3. So you take 9 times 7 times 7, and you divide it by 3. It doesn't say to round or anything, so you just put your answer in there, and that's inches cubed. All right, last one. We're going to be under 15 minutes again. What a record, 2 days in a row. Okay, the volume of a sphere. So the volume of a sphere, you just need to know the equation. And the volume of a sphere, and you can obviously use your notes on your next test, which is coming up next, is the last section. So we're going to have a test, a review and a test. Okay, so the volume is going to be 4/3 pi r cubed. So you should write that down so you can reference it somewhere for your next test. So it's 4/3 pi times r cubed. So that is going to be equal to 4/3 times pi times my radius, which in this case, your diameter is 9.8. So if your diameter is 9.8, your radius is half of that. So your radius, oh my goodness. So your radius is going to be equal to 9.8 divided by 2. So that's 9.8 divided by 2, and that whole thing is cubed. And that is going to be millimeters cubed. Okay? All right, so it's 4/3 times pi times r cubed. So it's 4/3 times pi. They say to use 3.14. They say to round to the nearest tenth. So it's 4/3 times pi times 9.8, divided by 2. And that whole thing is going to be cubed. And then your answer is millimeters cubed. All right, so that completes our video for today. And that is 9.8. So it is warming up and getting nicer. So make sure you guys are getting outside because it's starting to be beautiful out. All right, have a great day and good luck on your homework. And I will talk to you next time. Miss you. Bye.